So I think for me, the Nkandla report, the findings coming out of the report has important implications for South Africa's democracy and political economy. I think the number one issue, of course, has to do with the role of Chapter 9 institutions. Now we know that Chapter 9 institutions are very, very important for democracy. They are the backbone of a vibrant democracy, of an engaged citizenry. However, as we know, over the years, these institutions haven't been that effective. If you look at, for example, just the Public Protector's Office, up until, the advocate Tuli Madonsela has actually taken up that office, that office started to feature prominently in our public discourse. And also the overwhelming public trust that she hasn't been there in the past. So now that really raises questions about issues of how accessible Chapter 9 institutions are, but also how credible these institutions are. And so for me, I think what it does really is to really put emphasis on the role of Chapter 9 institutions. Even in our own reconciliation barometer survey that we run annually, it's a survey that looks at public opinion on reconciliation in South Africa. When we do ask South Africans to give opinion about their confidence in institutions, what we did find in the 2013 results is that the Public Protector received overwhelming support from the public, where we have 64.4% South Africans saying that they trust and have confidence in the Public Protector's Office, and much more than they do in the Constitutional Court. Okay, of course it follows after the religious institutions. South Africans, they still rank religious institutions very, very high. But it's very, very significant for South Africa's democracy that these institutions feature prominently in our public discourse, in our democracy and governance issues. Then I think the second issue that it really raises for me is the question of ethics and values in our society. If you look at the entire report, what really underpins this is the failure to apply an ethical framework in how we do governance in South Africa. And for me, I think this is an important issue. As you will recall, it came out very strongly when we launched the Transformation Audit earlier this year with Dr. Iraj Abidin, and we touched on this theme of intergenerational justice, or equity in other terms, looking at how can we integrate ethics and values back into our society in how we do business and how we govern. So this even becomes much more important when you're looking at public resources, the management of public resources, that those who are entrusted with public resources, they have to understand that they are merely custodians of those resources. But we also need to move beyond just thinking about the immediate, thinking about what are the needs of the current generation, and the well-being of the generation, how we manage those resources. How we manage resources has implications, not just for today, but also for the future, the welfare of future generation. And this is the point that we really wanted to drive home when we looked at intergenerational equity this year. So I think we really need to engage in this conversation about the future. What is the kind of future that we envision in South Africa? I think that the NDP, the National Development Plan, already provides the blueprint for the kind of future that we want as South Africans, right? Now, we may, be indifferent, about the NDP. Some people will support it, some people totally, disapprove of the NDP. But I think the one area that we do agree on, we have an agreement that South Africa could be a better place than it is today. And I think that kind of vision that we want, that Vision 2030 that we want, will require leadership. We need decisive leadership, we need ethical leadership, we need leadership that really serves the public interest.